are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Females made you just to trick me, trick me, trick me, trick me. 'Cause baby girl, you are so easily pretty. The only reason that I can do tonight is 'cause I know you were invited. The only reason that this dress is skin tight is 'cause I thought that you would like it. I'm only gone for the secret outside. Because I want you to like that. The only reason I can do tonight is because I really like you. And I can no longer hide it. What do I remember your mind then? The laces that goes over your digest. Why just tell me that you feel like I do?
This is Jessica Javens Talk, a podcast that helps you transform your life inside out to a life that you truly love. Today's guest, we're going to be talking about the unlimited power within. And all the way from across the other side of the world, we have today Jan Robberts. Hello, Jan. Welcome to the podcast today. Thank you so much for joining us. Please share a little bit about you first before we tap into that topic.
Well, thank you, Jessica, for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And I'm Jan Robberts, as Jessica, as you already said, from Johannesburg in South Africa. And there is a few things I do, but mainly I'm a leadership consultant, and I help leaders discover and solve their problems so they can lead more effectively, have less stress, and finally get a good night's sleep. As Les Brown said, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Outside of that, I'm also a values-based leadership specialist, an author, and I love self-care as well. So there's a few things I do. Thank you.
Yes, Jan is a wealth of wisdom here. We've had amazing conversations. So let's talk about this topic, about the power, the unlimited power within. For the average person, Jan, where would you start telling them why this is so important for them to pay attention in their lives?
Oh, that's a great question. If there is such a thing as an average person, but yeah, I think the first thing is to find out the direction you want to go at, because if you want to use that power from within that we all have, we've all been placed on this earth with a purpose, and I think it is, if you really want to find that power, that inner power that we all have, then you need to find that purpose, because that power only comes from the purpose. And if you want the power to be the best, if you want you to become the best person you want to be, then you need to really dig deep inside of yourself, sometimes deeper than you think. But if you have that power, if you know that you've got it, then you can use it. But first of all, find out what is your purpose, what do you want to do, and then start to find out what are my strengths, what am I really good at.
I love that you said to find your purpose, right? Now, some people spend, I don't know, most of their lives not knowing what their purpose is. They just are dealing with whatever comes their way, whatever their circumstances are, what's presented to them. So how can a person go into what they really want, which is what you said right after you said your purpose? How can they go in there?
Well, yeah. First of all, they should not listen too much to other people, because other people will always tell you what you cannot do. And there is very few people, some very close friends who will tell you that with a good heart, and that's a very different. But they will also help you. The real friends I'm talking about, and I'm fortunate to have friends for 45 years through martial arts especially, and they will tell me what I cannot do or what I'm not good at, but they also encourage me with what I'm good in, because people will tell you what's wrong very, very quickly before they tell you what is right. So I think for people a starting point is to start writing down some of the things that they're good at and that they've done, that they haven't celebrated, but that really, and it doesn't have to be the big things. We should all start with the small things, because if we start with the big things, we're going to get overwhelmed and we fall back into the habits that we had before.
Yes, yeah, that's a very good point. And then many times people give up and they just go back to being in that situation that they're in, which is not what they would love, but they just keep doing that because that's where they are. So in a way, like staying in the comfortable spot, you know. You've met people from all around the world. You've been everywhere and experienced so many things. What would you say it's the most common roadblock that you encounter when you're interacting with all of these different people?
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, the most common roadblocks, lack of self-belief, and there is more to it, because lack of self-belief doesn't only come from self. It quite often comes from experiences we've had in the past, and even things that at any age, something that might have happened when we were small kids that our parents said to us with all the kindness in their heart, but they said it to us and they hurt us deeply, and we've taken those blocks with us. So emotional trauma, the things that we don't believe about ourselves, because we let other people decide what we should believe about ourselves, and usually that is nothing good. So we need to start taking charge of our life and taking charge of our inner power, and that has to come from reading positive things, from listening to positive material, and from associating with positive people. There was a guy called Charlie Tremendous Jones. I had the pleasure of meeting him a few times. He's now passed. Everything was tremendous to him, but he said exactly that. There's three things that will govern the rest of your life: the things you read, the things you hear, and the people you associate with. Now, people, if they listen to your podcast right now, there is going to be some that might need to change 1, 2, and some might need to change all three of those. But if you don't do that, you will live a life without purpose, and live a life, and at the end of it, you will regret, because then there's things I wish I had.
That's so important, and with so much distractions around us, and so much of people just doing whatever they feel like doing. Everything is permissive. They don't realize sometimes that they're going into the wrong path, where they're not getting the right energy, they're not getting the right information or the right people. And without realizing who you're hanging out with, what you're watching, all of that is part of who you're becoming. And that realization, I think, is very important. So people know that they can get a much shorter road towards that goal that every human wants. They all want to be empowered. They all want to be happy and enjoy life. Every person. So in order for you to do that, you need to pay close attention of how you're surrounding yourself, everything that you're allowing around you. I love that. About the power within, and going in with what my experience, I realized that for me to be able to understand my purpose, I had to realize my system belief. And I did not understand, and I think this might be something that people might resonate with. I did not understand that I was carrying some paradigms or some beliefs or even patterns that were driving me in every quadrant of my life, my relationships, my choices, my career, even the way that I eat, what I eat, and allowed inside of my body. And I didn't realize and how that was affecting everything. And once I started to just go and revisit those beliefs, right, I realized, like, hold on, that really is not true anymore. I need to tweak that or I need to change that. And I started there because I didn't know how, but the how will take care of itself. And then once I started to do that, then the next step of how I could change that and tweak it without changing my core values was where I was able to start becoming my better version. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you said it already. I mean, that's powerful what you just said. There's a few things that you said, and the first one is that the how will come, but you need to have your why first, because if your why is strong enough, the how will follow itself. And don't worry about the how, because that is one of the blocks we have. We only see obstacles rather than opportunities. And that, again, as you already mentioned, that comes from your past, and you had the insights and the wisdom to look into your past to find those obstacles. But most people don't, because they try to figure out where they're going, and they've got one foot in the past, maybe both. And if you've got one or both in the past, you will never get into the future that you deserve, because we all deserve better. And then you said another thing about values. And as you know already from what we've talked about, values-based leadership is a passion of mine, because I think we all need to build a solid foundation of values. And I'm talking basic human values. And if you don't know your values, because you said you had to revisit your values, that's assuming that people actually know them. I talk to so many people and they have no idea what their basic human values are. And it's not money, and it's not all those kind of material things and those things of mass destruction that we all flow to every now and then. I've been guilty of it too. But it's the real things like family, like love, like integrity, listening, hope, respect. Those kind of they are simple, but if we build it on the foundation of the basic values that we all have, and they're not all the same, we're not all the same, but there'll be an overlap, I'm pretty sure. But if we don't have that, if we don't have a value system that we can follow, that we can fall back on, then we will be open to everything and anybody. And as you said as well, the people we associate with will influence us in a way that we probably find out too late, and then we get caught in that trap. But I think we really need to work on our inner self, and that begins with thought. We have a saying that says thoughts become actions, actions become habits, and habits become our destiny. If we reverse engineer that, then everything, and I mean everything, begins with a thought. So let's change our thinking, and it will change our world.
Yes. One thing that I like to say sometimes is everything is created twice. And I remember when I heard that for the first time, I'm like, how is that possible? It's only one time. It's not duplicate. Oh, yes. It starts in the mind. Everything that you look around you, it all started with a thought. Everything, the picture, the light behind me was all something that somebody thought of before they made it. So if you really have a clear understanding of that, then you're empowering yourself. You're starting to tap in to that unlimited power. Another thing that happened to me, Jan, is that I always thought that I had a limit. I was limiting myself. I'm a human, I'm imperfect, I'm not going to live, whatever my system of belief is. So I limited myself, and I didn't understand the difference between limit and respecting myself. So my understanding of that was messed up. So I would do too much sometimes where that would hurt me, but I didn't realize that I was doing it the wrong way. I was allowing myself to do that because of these beliefs. So I started to, when I started to switch that, I went to a rediscovery kind of thing where I was like, oh, there is options. There is other ways. And then I saw this line of unlimited power that I could tap in, that I was given, that I have, that every human has. And me trying to show this and convince people to believe in themselves in a different level than, because I used to always say, I believe in me. I know I'm capable, but not in this way. So I really talk to people a lot about that, because if they just believe in that and they start to have the understanding, they will start tapping into that unlimited power that they have inside. So share some of that with me, with the groups of people that you, for instance, work with, who are mainly leaders. All of us are leaders of our lives, by the way. So
Indeed.
This is good for everybody. It doesn't matter which role you're in or title you have. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, and I love that as well, because as you were talking and you mentioned about rediscovery, I thought, well, everybody knows about the Discovery Channel, but I think we all should have a rediscovery channel, all for ourselves.
I love that.
I just thought about that as you said that, but yeah, and we're all leaders, as you said, because leadership is all about self-leadership, and self-leadership is all about intentional, there's an important word, intentional daily growth. And for us to be able to do that and help others to do that, we need to find out where they are first. And some leaders are at a higher level, or at a more evolved level in their own development. They did what you did as well. They looked inside themselves. They found some stuff. They already looked for help. And coaching is, of course, very important. Because we can't always. Les Brown, my friend, the mentor, he says, when we're in the picture, we don't often see the frame. So we need somebody else to help frame that for us. Yes. So we need help. And that's when they come to us. I said, I try to find out, and it's a long enough process, our discovery meeting as well as the first meeting, to find out really, where are you? Because if you want to go somewhere, you better know where you are. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter where you are in a bad place just now, but let's take one step ahead. What will that one step look like for you? How would you like to reach it? And usually with coaching, it depends what they want, because quite often I see it as a combination with mentoring and coaching, because from the wisdom that you and I have gained over the time, we can help shorten that journey for other people. But they need to want it, because as you said, everybody would like to be skinny, rich, and happy. I say it in a short way, but I mean it's either or and all of the above. But a lot of people don't want to do what it takes to do that because it's too much. And I thought, well, what is too much? How long can it take? I mean, you've lived now for 30, 40 years on this earth, and how is that working for you?
Right.
Because
Are you achieving the results that you wanted?
Yeah, and if it's not, then my first question is not, oh, I'm so sorry for you. I don't do those kind of things. I am in a bit sorry for them that they haven't figured this out yet, but that's what I'm there for. So I said, well, so what do you want to do next? And that blows some people's mind because they don't expect that. They think, oh, I'm going to tell you what you need to do. No, what would you like to do next? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some of them say, yeah, what can we do? Well, there's your problem. It's not what can I, it's how can I, because we're talking about a fixed and growth mindset as well. All these kind of things come looking, as I said to you when we had the conversation, it is we need to have a holistic approach to our own self, to build ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And the key, which is actually Key Leadership Institute, and as my wife also, she has Celebrating Humanity International, where it's Qi, which is the Chinese for key, but it's internal power. So I've studied Key Aikido for 45 years.
Wow.
And that internal power, we are so powerful, as one of my favorite sayings, and I know Artie's got one as well with Williams, but it is that we are powerful beyond measure, and we don't know it and we don't realize it. The thing is, how can we tap into it? Mm-hmm. We need to realize we've got it. We need to actually find out how we can build it one step, one day at a time, because it's not going to happen overnight, but we can kill or cure ourselves with the thoughts we have in our head.
Yes. And sometimes if the person is having a hard time of being ready, I actually ask them to borrow my belief because I believe in them. Would you like to borrow mine? Let's try that, because I want the person to realize that time is going to keep going by. So what is the alternative? If you're not going to do this, what are you going to do instead? Right. Yeah. But yes, the person needs to be ready. And I think that we can inspire them to be and help them, mm-hmm. but they have to do the walk. And we're going to be guiding them and helping them through that journey and make it a lot shorter than what they would have done on their own, because of our path and because of many other paths that we were able to help. So I love that. For our listeners today, Jan, if they want to start tapping into that unlimited power within, can you tell me just like maybe 2 to 3 different practical things that they can start doing on their own before they start searching for the right coach for them or the right system for them that will help them to get to a life that they would love?
Yeah. One of the things I think is very important, and thank you for that. And when you said about the belief, I was thinking that as well when you talked about your experiences. If you don't have the belief, try to borrow other people's belief in you until you do, but, right. and find somebody. And I think it's not necessarily finding a coach or somebody who can help you, but at least find somebody who at least has the belief in you. But the first thing I think is to do is to sit down in a quiet place for a while and try to start to figure some things out, because we can get overwhelmed with all now we need to do this, and I need to watch YouTube videos, I need to go to webinars, and it can get too much.
Yeah.
Take one step at a time, because when you're new to this kind of thing, it's so easy to be able to get overwhelmed and say, I can't do all of this. No, you don't need to do all of it, but do at least something. And sitting down with a pen and paper in a corner and try to figure some things out. Where are you just now? Where would you have liked to be? Because I think that already gives you an insight that the question is, why am I not there? Is in a way irrelevant, because we know that, because you don't know what you don't know. So try to figure out what you do know and where you want to go. And then start doing some different things, because I think a lot of people have the negative influences from around the world in their ears, in their eyes, in their surroundings, with the people around them, the complainers, the negative people, all the time. So the first thing is to have a quiet place. The second one is start associating with some more positive people. And the third thing is start looking at some more positive material that you can listen to, that you can read. And it doesn't need to be hours a day, 10, 15 minutes a day. Start somewhere.
Yeah, you know what? I love to do that in the morning, Jan, because it's almost like it set the tone for my day, I love it. That's with me. It's different for everybody, but that's with me. I really love that. So, our listeners can then start realizing if they're surrounding themselves with that, and the quantity. I like that what you said. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's almost like digestion. You can't force your body to digest everything instantly. It doesn't work that way. So you need to give time for digestion. So you need to digest the information that you got before you go maybe to the next one. So that way it really is absorbed by your body or your brain and so forth. So it's very important that they realize it doesn't have to be a super fast process. They just have to get started, and then each step will be a new step of light that will empower them. And I love to look back at my journey, because that's exactly how it was with me too. So, and I'm very happy that I chose that, and I hope that everyone who's listening to us decides to tap into their unlimited power that they have within. So, and a lot of people might want to learn a little bit more about you. You have so much experience that I admire you so much. I want people to be able to contact you and to learn more about you. So can you share here with us, to our listeners, how they can do that?
Yes, certainly, and it'll be my pleasure, Jessica. And as I said, really honored to be here and to be able to talk life into people that at the moment they don't feel capable of. But they can find me through email, jan.roberts, so JAN.ROBBERTS @keyleadershipinstitute.com, and key is KI, and then leadershipinstitute.com. They can also find us on our website, www.keyleadership.com. And all our details are there anyway. So I would look forward to walking the journey and supporting and helping people wherever I can.
Yes. I actually just got your article this morning in my inbox from LinkedIn. So I really like that, because you're always sharing wisdom there. So thank you so much for coming to the show today. This is very exciting. It's a pleasure and honor. And I hope that we can connect very shortly. And this show is brought by Forever Living, which is the best aloe vera juice in the world that helped transform my wellness. And it's also produced by the I Am Beast Network. My name is Jessica Javens, and this is Jessica Javens Talk.
Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Females made you just to trick me, trick me, trick me, trick me. 'Cause baby girl, you are so easily pretty. The only reason that I can do tonight is 'cause I know you were invited. The only reason that this dress is skin tight is 'cause I thought that you would like it. I'm only gone for the secret outside, because I want you to like it. The only reason I can do tonight is because I